Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to talk about object-oriented programming in PHP, and we are going to start with the very basics like classes, objects and so on. I'm going to record every feature of object-oriented programming in PHP in a separate video. Now we are going to start with the classes and objects. Well, let's dive in. If you are not familiar with PHP and you don't know how to use or install it, I've already recorded a video about it. I will link above to this video. Here you can find it. And well, let's talk about how to use classes and what are classes basically. Well, I'm starting with the PHP tag. Classes are simply look like blueprints. Of course, they exist in our files, but physically they don't exist. Classes are just like templates to build objects upon them. You know, class is like a template or a blueprint to build objects based on them. Well, let's define a class in PHP. Class. This keyword defines a class. It means we are going to start a new class. Well, class user. It's done. Now we can create object from this user class. How to create object? We can use new keyword like this. And we're going to put it in a variable. When I say new user, this new keyword will create a new object from this class. We can use or remove this parentheses. So I'm going to echo out the class type of this user variable. So I say get class and write down the user variable. So I'm gonna open terminal, compile this file and php index.php. Well, you see there is the class name which printed out by this echo. Well, to make this more obvious, I'm gonna add some description to this get class function. I'm gonna write this is our class name. So I'm going to compile it again. This is our class name, user. Okay, so get class is a function to help us to get the class of a variable or an object. Okay, we have our class, but we are not storing any data from user. So if I'm going to save the user's name, first name, last name, full name, or some other data like national code or bank account number or some other data about his birth date or something like them, how could we save or store users data in our class? Well, there is a thing in classes called properties. Okay, properties are used to store data in a class. Well, let's start with these properties. Let's define something public like first name. Later, I will talk about this public keyword. And I'm going to add something else called last name and then public national ID. Okay, so these are user properties. Now I'm going to initialize these properties. When we are building these objects, we are not initial any value or specify any value to these properties. So how we can do that? Let's give some value to these properties. User first name is John. Okay, and let's say his last name is Snow. Well, let's say hi to Jon Snow. I'm gonna echo out hi $user first name, and let's put a space here, and then user last name. Okay, let's compile our code. PHP index.php. Well, I'm gonna comment out this line of code, then I'm gonna compile it. So here it is. Hi, Jon Snow. Well, there are other ways to initialize our object properties. Except this way we've chosen at the beginning, we can use another way and initialize properties while we are building the object. How we are going to do that? Well, I'm adding back these parentheses, and like a function arguments, I'm gonna specify values to these parentheses. Okay, I'm gonna say John and Snow and a national ID like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, but what if we compile the index.php file again? What happens? Nothing happens. Okay, so we have sent the values to our properties, but we have not specified those values to the properties. So how we are going to do that? Well, each classes in PHP contains a method called construct. Let's find out how to use that. I'm gonna use public keyword, public function, underline, and construct. Okay. This function or this method in the class runs when we create a new object of a class. It runs automatically in the background. Okay, so when we say new user, this construct method runs at the background. Okay, these parentheses and this value are passing to this method. Okay, so I can get these values and specify them to these properties. How I'm going to do that? Like general functions in PHP, we can define arguments for this construct method. Okay, so I'm gonna define arguments and say string first name and string last name and string $national ID. Okay, so now I have these values. Okay, I'm gonna var dump these values and let's see what is going on. Var dump, let's var dump only first name. Okay, I'm gonna comment out this echo. So you can see that it var dumps this string and it says the value is John. So the John I passed in this line is the first name I am getting here. So I can specify this first name to this property. How we are going to do that? Very simple. So I'm gonna comment out this and say $this first name is equal to $first name from the above. This first name comes from here and this first name comes from here. Okay, and then for the last name we can say this last name and last name. Okay, and then the national ID is going to be assigned and I'm gonna write down national ID. Okay, so I'm gonna watch these values here again and let's compile our file. Hi, Jon Snow. The magic comes out here. Okay, so the values we are passing here to these, we have more simple way to pass them by construct method. Construct is a magic method. We are going to learn about magic methods in PHP in the future, but for now we are going to learn how this construct work again. When we use new keyword to create a new object of a class, this construct method runs automatically at the background. Okay, so I'm going to use this feature of PHP classes to pass values to their properties and initialize the properties. This is a more simple way to create objects and initialize properties in PHP. One more thing I'm going to mention is this keyword, $this. What does the this keyword means here and what is referring to? The this keyword I'm using here is referred to the object I created here. Okay, so when I say $this first name, I mean this object has a property called first name, so I'm going to initialize it. So $this is a reference to our current object. Okay, once again, $this keyword is referring to our current object, which is user here. Okay, so when I say $this first name is going to have this value, it means our current object is going to take this value, which is John, as the first name property. So $this is referring to our current object, okay, which has the first name property. So when we are going to refer our current object in our class anywhere, we are using this $this keyword. Okay, in the future videos we are going to use more of this $this keyword, so it will shine out the meaning in our mind. Okay, I think it's enough for this video. Thanks for watching a lot, and please subscribe my channel and like this video to support me, so I can make more of these videos and help you to learn programming with PHP programming language. I hope you would like it. Thanks for watching again. Good luck and goodbye.